Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's make some Easter bun the yeast version. Let's get started. So let's start off with our wet mixture. To my saucepan, I went in with some shortening, butter, sugar. I'll be using the dragon stout. If you don't have dragon stout, you could use Guinness or Malta. Then I'm going to go in with a couple tablespoons of burnt sugar. If you don't have burnt sugar, use some browning or some molasses. I'll be adding some vanilla for my fruits. I'll be adding some cherries, golden raisin, and the regular raisin. And I'm going to warm this up on the stove, allow the shortening and the butter to melt, and allow the fruits to soften up a bit. In the meantime, let's proof our yeast. So I went in about a teaspoon of sugar and the yeast, and I'm going to set it aside to proof. So for my spices, I have some ground ginger, ground nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, and mixed spice. And I add that to the flour with some salt and baking powder and mix well to combine. Now here's my yeast mixture. If your yeast is not looking like this, it's not good, so start again. So my wet measurement is just enough, so I went in with the entire thing and I add my yeast mixture, and I'm going to mix well to combine. So this dough is going to be super soft and wet, so you want to mix well until all the flour is dissolved and you end up with something looking like this. So you want to mix well and allow all the flours to incorporate. Once it sits, it will get a little bit more manageable, but at this point it's super sticky. So you want to cover with some cling wrap for about 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on the temperature of your house. The dough is going to take a longer time to rise because it's heavily spiced. So after about 2 hours, I get my mat and I add some oil. You could use flour, but I find that oil makes it more pliable. So I'm going to oil my hands and I'm going to scrape the dough out onto the mat, and I'm just going to use my hand just to bring it together, in a uniform dough. So as I mentioned, it's super sticky, but once you oil your hands, it will get manageable, as you could see here. So I'm just going to go ahead, turn it on itself a couple of times, and I'm going to divide this in two because I'm making 2 loaves of bun. I'm going to rest one part aside, and I'm just going to shape freely, just kind of turn it over onto itself. Make sure to grease your pan in the meantime, and your oven is being preheated to 350 degrees. And I'm going to add this to my baking dish, and I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to move on to the next one. Now you want to proof this for another 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on the temperature of your house. You want this to rise before you put it in the oven. So as long as it takes to, double in size a little bit, that's how long. So I covered mine and put it in the oven and turn on the oven light. That way it has more heat going towards it. Don't start the oven, just turn on the oven light. And I set this aside to double. After, this is what it looks like before it goes into the oven. This baked for about 1 hour or into 50 minutes. And for my glaze, this is just a mixture of honey and butter, and I'm just going to glaze the bun and allow this to cool completely before slicing and removing from the pan. And at this point, it is smelling amazing. Let me know if you get to try this recipe out. I'll leave everything that I use in the caption, the comment section. It will be presentable. So you want to go ahead and slice your bun once it's cooled down enough. This is slightly cooled, almost cool, and this is typically served with some Jamaican cheddar cheese, butter, pear, whatever you want to have it with. Comment down below what you like to have your bun with at Easter time. This was so soft and flavorful. I have another version on the page that you could go ahead and check it out, but I wanted to try the yeast version, and here you have it. It is super soft and moist. Thank you so very much for watching. Bye now.